Hello student, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Nimisha Jadon from School of Studies Environmental Chemistry, Jivaji University, Gwalior. Today we are going to discuss about the introduction to air pollutants under the paper of environmental analysis. The learning objective of this module including the sources and effects of air pollution, then the classification and properties of the air pollutants, then the properties of air pollutants and their sources, emission sources, photochemical smoke and the effects of air pollution. First of all, we are going to discuss about what is air pollution. Any changes in the concentration of the atmospheric gases which alters the natural quality of the air is known as air pollution. The air pollution may be defined as any atmospheric condition in which certain substances are present in such a concentration that they can produce the undesirable effects on human and its environment. These substances include gases, for example, sulfur oxides, oxides of nitrogen, carbon monoxides and the hydrocarbons, and the particulate matter like smoke, dust, fumes and the aerosols, then radioactive materials and many others. Here is the picture that showing the various types of air pollutants, like the emission from the industry. The high stakes removes the smoke from the releasing from the industrial process so that it enter into the atmosphere and increase the concentration of oxides of sulfur and nitrogen. Then the aircraft, they are also, because the fuel which are using for to run the aircraft also create a air pollution. Then the burning of garbage or the fossil fuel also increase the concentration of carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide and the other gases into the air. Classification and properties of air pollutants. The variety of matter emitted into the atmosphere by natural and anthropogenic sources is so diverse that it is difficult to classify air pollutants neatly. Generally, the air pollutants classify into two categories. The number one is primary pollutants and number two is the secondary pollutants. Primary pollutants are those pollutants which emitted directly into the atmosphere. The oxides of nitrogen, oxides of sulfur and the carbon dioxide comes under this category. Other secondary pollutants are those pollutants when the primary pollutants react with the other atmospheric gases present in the upper layer of the atmosphere and convert to the some other products is known as secondary pollutants. And the example of secondary pollutants included the sulfuric acid, nitric acid, ozone and the most of the nitrate and the sulfate ions. Here in this figure, we have seen that the various anthropogenic activities like automobile exhaust, then the industrial emission and the stationary source of like household emission increases the concentration of primary pollutants. It is also caused by some natural process like volcanic eruption or by the other weathering processes. So the primary pollutants emitted into the atmosphere like sulfur oxides, then oxides of nitrogen, carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide and most of the hydrocarbons and suspended particles. When these types of primary pollutants react with the other particles or the gases present in the atmosphere, they produces the secondary type of pollutants which included sulfuric acid, nitric acid, hydrogen peroxide, ozone, etc. Now we discuss here about the properties of air pollutants. Number one air pollutant is the particulate matter. The particulate matter is classified in various classes. One is known as dust. Dust contains particles of the size ranging from 1 to 200 micrometer. The second one class of particulate matter is the smoke. It contains fine particles of the size ranging from 0.01 to 1 micrometer, which can be liquid or solid and are formed by combustion or the other chemical processes. The third one category of particulate matter is the fumes. These are the solid particles of the size ranging from zero point 0.1 to 1 micrometer and are normally released from chemical or metallurgical processes. The next category of the pollutant is known as mist. It is made up of liquid droplets generally smaller than 10 micrometer, which are formed by condensation in the atmosphere or are released from the industrial operations. The next one category is the fog. It is a mist in which the liquid is water and is sufficiently dense to obscure vision. The next one category is aerosols. Under this category are included all airborne suspensions, either solid or liquid. These are generally smaller than 1 micrometer. Now we are going to discuss about the various gaseous pollutant present in the air. First of all, we have discussed about the oxides of sulfur. The most important oxides emitted by the pollution sources is the sulfur dioxide. The sulfur dioxide is a colorless gas with a characteristics of sharp pungent odor. It is moderately soluble in water, forming weakly acidic sulfurous acid, and then it is oxidized slowly in clean air to sulfur trioxide. The second most important air pollutant is known as the oxides of nitrogen. The nitrous oxide is a colorless, odorless gas that produced non-toxic gas present in the natural atmosphere in relatively large concentration. The major sources of nitrous oxide in the atmosphere is the biological activity of the soil, and there are no significant anthropogenic sources are observed before, but nowadays this gas or the oxides of nitrogen release rapidly from the automobile exhaust. It is of major concern as a pollutant and is directly emitted into the atmosphere by fuel combustion and the nitric acid plants. It absorbs sunlight and initiates a series of photochemical reaction which is observed in the lower stratosphere. Third type of gaseous pollutant, that is carbon monoxide. It constitutes the single largest pollutant in the urban atmosphere. It has a strong affinity towards the hemoglobin of the bloodstream and is a dangerous asphyxiant. The rate of oxidation of carbon monoxide to carbon dioxide in the atmosphere seems to be very slow, and mixture of carbon monoxide and oxygen exposed to the sunlight for several years have been found to remain almost unchanged. The carbon monoxide is present in the small concentration in the natural atmosphere and has the residence time of about 6 months. The main sources of carbon monoxide in the urban air is smoke and exhaust fumes of many devices burning coal, gas or oil. The carbon monoxide is generally a colorless, odorless and the tasteless gas and has a boiling point of 192 degrees centigrade. Here in this picture, you have seen the characteristics of urban air pollution. There are some biogenic activities like farming and the anthropogenic activities like industrialization and automobile vehicle, and they emit the hydrocarbons and the oxides of nitrogen, oxides of sulfate, then PM 2.5 and 10 into the atmosphere. The ozone as well carbon or oxygen and the particulate matter which are already present in the atmosphere, when they react with the electrochemical radiation of the sunlight, they convert into the oxidants like ozone and the OH radicals, and they all forms the various kinds of ions like sulfate, PM 2.5 or 10 or nitrate, so that the urban air atmosphere is laden with the such kind of ions which creates the pollution at the particular region, and the some part of these ions are deposited back to the earth surface, and the other part is outflow from in the nearby surface area. Now we discuss about the hydrocarbons. The gaseous and the volatile hydrocarbons are of particular interest as air pollutants. Hydrocarbons can be saturated or unsaturated branches of straight chain, or can have a ring structure as in the case of aromatic and other cyclic compounds. The hydrocarbons in air by themselves alone cause no harmful effects. Non-methane hydrocarbon concentration that is of interest while considering air pollution. Here in this table we have given the composition of clean and dry atmosphere air, where the maximum part of the atmosphere is covered by the nitrogen, that is 79 ppm or the percent, and the other rest of the part is covered by the oxygen and the carbon dioxide, and in the few amounts the other gases are also present in the atmosphere like argon, neon, helium, carbon monoxide, methane, oxides of nitrogen, ammonia, and many more. Now we discuss here about the emission sources. The classification according the source type included the natural and the anthropogenic sources, as well as two additional sub-classification within each group. The natural sources include wind-blown dust, pollen, sea salt, nuclei, volcanic ash and gases, smoke and trace gases from forest fires, and the terpenes from the forest. The anthropogenic sources cover a wide spectrum of types given in the table. The other methods of grouping air pollution sources, including that the air pollution sources can also be grouped according to the number and the spatial distribution. These include single or point source such as steel mills, power plants, oil refineries, and pulp and paper mills, etc. The multiple or area sources such as entire residential area, and line sources which include highway carrying moving vehicles. The another source grouping is by the type of emission, with particulate and gaseous emission being two major divisions. Here in this picture, we have discussed about the emission pollution. The various thermal power plant and the industries, then automobile exhaust and the livestock emitted oxides of sulfur, nitrogen and ammonia into the atmosphere. These emitted pollutants directly deposited come back to the earth's surface and deposited as the process of known as dry deposition. But when they are converted into the other sulfate, nitrate, ammonical and the oxides of nitrogen ion, they are react with the water that is present in the atmosphere and precipitate out on the earth's surface in the form of sulfuric acid or nitric acid, as we say in the form of acid rain. So ultimately whatever the ions or the pollutants that we are released into the atmosphere, they come to the earth's surface again and they affect the human as well as the living organism. Here we are discussing about the importance of anthropogenic sources. The pollutants emission from natural sources is much greater than that from the anthropogenic sources. But the anthropogenic sources of pollutants are concentrated in specific locations such as urban areas and reach very high levels in the atmosphere. The influence of anthropogenic sources is quite significant, and the air pollutants not only threaten the health and well-being of population in the particular location but could also produce adverse effects on a global scale. Here in this picture we have seen the some anthropogenic sources of the air pollution. In the first picture we have seen the increase in the population is the major source of air pollutants in the atmosphere. Then the agricultural activities and the radioactive fallout and the industrial development are the other major sources of air pollutants in the atmosphere. Here in this table, we have seen that the comparison of the amounts of anthropogenic pollutants with the amount naturally present in the clean dry air. Pollutants like particulates present in the 269 million of tons per year emitted into the atmosphere by the anthropogenic activities, but they are not present naturally in the dry and clean air. The oxides of sulfur again present in the environment or emitted in the environment by the anthropogenic sources is 132 million of tons per year, but by the natural sources it emitted in the 2 millions of ton per year. The oxides of nitrogen emitted into the atmosphere by the anthropogenic sources is 48 millions of ton per year, but by the natural sources it is emitted 8 millions of ton per year. The next is carbon monoxide, which emitted into the atmosphere through the anthropogenic sources is 400 millions of ton per year, but it naturally emitted from the into the atmosphere is 500 millions of ton per year. In the second table, we have discussed about the classification of anthropogenic air pollution sources. Here we have divided the sources like combustion, roasting and heating process, chemical, petroleum, pulp and paper industry, and the food and agriculture industries. Thus, in the second one portion, we have discussed the category of the type of pollutants like in the petroleum refinery, non-metallic minerals, then the stationary or the mobile sources of air pollutants, and the major important sources and the typical pollutants released into the atmosphere is also discussed here in the table. Now we discuss about the emission sources in India. The air pollution sources in India may be grouped into rural and urban sources. The rural sources are those emitted mainly from burning of biofuels, and the urban sources originate primarily from the use of fossil fuels. The air pollution seen in urban areas has changed drastically with the liberalization policies of the government of India, allowing more car manufacturers to enter the India market in 1990s. Most of the industries are located in major cities. These significantly add to the pollution burden of the metropolitan areas. Here in this picture, you have seen the various sources of emission of air pollutants. This pie chart shows the 52% of the emission of these oxides of various air pollutants releases by the industrial sector. Then the rest part is emitted by the transportation process like automobile exhaust, and only 8% is emitted by the consumers and the commercial products. Then 1% is released into the atmosphere by the commercial and residential heating. Then the 10% is released by the agriculture practices, and the other are the 2% reasons are the 2% which are the main causes of these types of air pollutants into the atmosphere. Now we discuss about the behavior and fate of the air pollutants. The particulates present in the atmosphere, they are removed, wet removed by the precipitation, and their dry removal is done by the sedimentation or impaction and the diffusion, and the gases is removed by the wet process through the precipitation and by the chemical reaction in the atmosphere to produce aerosols and the adsorption on aerosols with subsequent removal. The third process is known as adsorption or reaction at land and the ocean surface. Here in this figure, we are going to discuss about the atmospheric stability regions. This figure shows the temperature profile for the various case stabilities. When the environmental lapse rate and the dry adiabatic lapse rate are exactly same, a rising parcel of air will have the same pressure, temperature and density of the surrounding and would experience by one's force. Now we discuss here about the wet precipitation. The wet precipitation has two distinct mechanisms. One is rain out and the second one is washout. The first includes various processes taking place inside cloud where the contaminants serve as condensation nuclei on which droplets condense. The second mechanism refers to the removal of pollutants below the cloud level by falling rain. The wet precipitation is one of the most effective scavenging processes for both particulate and gaseous pollutants in global sense. It is very effective in removing the acid droplets and sulfate particles formed after chemical reaction in the atmosphere. Here in this figure, we have discussed about the plumb behavior under various conditions of stability. The dry adiabatic lapse rate to ambient lapse rate. In the first picture, a loft inversion of fumigation takes place where the temperature increases with the height, and after that the plumb behavior seems to be plumb of the emission is very much down to the earth surface. In the second picture, where the temperature profile shows the temperature is initially it is increases with the height and then is drastically changed when the height of the stack is increases. So the plumb is remove the stack fumes at the medium upper surface of the atmosphere. And in the third one picture, we have seen the temperature inversion increase the plumb of the fumes and the most of the gases releases into the top layer of the atmosphere. This figure shows the rise of plumb from the chimney stacks are released into the atmosphere at elevated temperature. The rise of the plumb after release to the atmosphere is caused by the buoyancy and the vertical momentum of the effluent. Now we discuss about the dry deposition. The particulate matter is smaller than 0.1 microgram often coagulates through mutual collisions and forms larger aggregates which are effectively removed by gravitational settling. Here in the picture shows the elevated advective inversion where the warm air reaches maximum and the cool air is also cool down the warm air, so the temperature variation takes place when the altitude is increases, which affects the inversion of the plumb behavior. In this picture, the wind velocity profile is observed during the day and the night time. The wind velocity is upward direction in with the altitude in the daytime, but at the night time the transportation of the pollutants with the wind velocity decreases due to the less automobile exhaust emission in the urban area. Here in this picture, we have seen the wind velocity profile of urban area, suburban area and the level country, and we have seen the wind velocity or the gradient wind changes when we change the area, so that the velocity of pollutant dispersion is also changes. Here this figure shows the temperature profile of the air pollutant. The figure shows the subsidence inversion is potentially rise more serious than the radiation inversion because the latter usually dissipate quite rapidly after the sunrise. The second figure shows the condition and the temperature profile for the subsidence inversion. The subsidence is caused by air flowing down to replace air which has flowed out of the high pressure again. Due to the presence of pollutants in the atmosphere, the process of photosynthesis smog is observed in some areas. The photochemical smog was first observed in Los Angeles, USA in the mid of 1940s, and since then the phenomena has been detected in most major metropolitan cities of the world. The condition for the formation of the photochemical smog are air stagnation, abundant sunlight, and high concentration of hydrocarbons and nitrogen oxides in the atmosphere. Smog arises from the photochemical reaction in the lower atmosphere by the interaction of hydrocarbons and nitrogen oxide released by exhausts of the automobiles and some stationary sources. So, due to the photochemical smog, the visibility almost negligible or decreases. So, it will affect the life of urban area population. Now we discuss the effects of major air pollutants. The toxic effects of particles can be grouped into three categories. The number one is the interferences of inert particle with the clearing mechanism of the respiratory tract, so that it affects the respiratory tract and it causes asthmatic problem. Then the particle act as a carriers of absorbed toxic gases such as oxides of sulfur and produces synergistic effects. And particles may be intrinsically toxic because of their physical and chemical characteristics. Sometimes they are that much of toxic, it directly lethal for the human beings and immediately cause death of a living organism. Now we are discussing about the effects of gaseous pollutants on living beings. The oxides of sulfur causes respiratory and the heart diseases and pneumonia. The carbon monoxide is the main reason of creating methemoglobinemia in the infant, in which the carbon monoxide get binds to the hemoglobin. Then the oxides of nitrogen causes pulmonary edema, respiratory disease, olfactory damage, and the lung cancer. Then the hydrocarbons and the photochemical oxidants causes eye irritation, aggravation of asthma, impaired performance of athletes, and many more. So we can conclude here that we have discussed more about here about the various types of air pollutants, and the air pollution may be defined as any changes in the atmospheric condition by the certain substances which are present in such concentration that can produce undesirable effects on human as well as on the environment. The pollutant emission from the natural sources is much greater than that from the anthropogenic sources, and the air pollution sources in India may be grouped into two sources. The one is rural sources and the other one is the urban sources. So here we have discussed about the various types of air pollutants like oxides of nitrogen, oxides of sulfur, particulate matter, than the other oxidants like ozone. We have discussed in detail about their sources and their impact on human. Thank you so much.